Christopher Nolan has never had a flop. Not one. Every trailer he's ever put out has landed somewhere between 98 and 100% positive on YouTube. That streak just broke, and not by a little. 10 days before release, the countdown trailer for his $250 million passion project, The Odyssey, is sitting at over 500,000 estimated dislikes against roughly 60,000 likes. That's not a bad reaction. That's the second worst ratio for any major Hollywood trailer in the platform's history, behind only Disney's Snow White. So today, let's actually break down what's happening, why it's happening, and whether Nolan, of all directors, is really about to have his first fall.
For context, this is Nolan's adaptation of Homer's Odyssey, shot entirely on IMAX film, a first for any movie ever made. It's got a stacked cast: Matt Damon as Odysseus, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Charlize Theron, Zendaya as the goddess Athena. On paper, this was supposed to be the victory lap after Oppenheimer swept the Oscars. Tracking had it pegged as one of the most anticipated films of the year. Instead, it's become one of the most talked about controversies of the year. And the tracking numbers, reportedly slipping over the past several weeks, suggest this isn't just an online pile-on that stays on. So let's go through the timeline, because it escalated fast. Back in December, Nolan's first teaser was doing exactly what Nolan trailers always do. Around 618,000 likes to roughly 112,000 dislikes. Totally normal for him. Then in May, once casting details started leaking, a second trailer dropped and the ratio cratered to roughly 60% positive. Still above water, but a visible hit. Then on July 1st, Universal released the official countdown trailer. Within 4 days, it blew past 350,000 dislikes. By the world premiere on July 6th, it had crossed 500,000. As of the most recent count, some trackers have it north of 600,000 dislikes, against roughly 65,000 likes, a nearly 90% negative ratio on the studio's own channel. Now, YouTube hid public dislike counts back in 2021. These numbers come from third-party browser extensions that estimate the real count based on your own vote plus the public like count. They're not exact, and dislike bombing is a real phenomenon.
It mostly comes down to casting. Here's the roster that's been driving the conversation. Lupita Nyong'o plays both Helen of Troy and her sister Clytemnestra. Elliot Page plays Sinon, notably a character from Virgil's Aeneid, not from Homer's actual Odyssey, which itself became a talking point. Travis Scott is cast as a Homeric bard. This story got a lot bigger on July 6th, the day of the London premiere, when Elon Musk waded in. Responding to a post about the trailer's dislike count, he accused Nolan of compromising the story to satisfy award season expectation. He's been friendly with Nolan's brother and Interstellar co-writer Jonathan Nolan for years. Jonathan, for what it's worth, has publicly called the finished film spectacular after an early screening. So you've got one side of a friendship publicly trashing the other side's family project days before it opens. That's its own subplot. Musk's post pulled in tens of thousands of likes within hours, and effectively guaranteed the backlash stayed the top story going into premiere night, right when Universal wanted the conversation to be about the movie itself. The other flashpoint has been Nyong'o's own press tour answers. In one junket interview, asked about playing Helen in Clytemnestra, she explained the film's approach by pointing out something true about the source material.
When you read the Iliad and the Odyssey, very little time is spent in the perspective of the women.
Right.
Right? It's told from a very masculine side of things.
It's told from a very masculine side of things. Her point was that Nolan's version spends more time with the female characters than Homer's poem does. Read in isolation, that's a pretty ordinary statement about adapting a 3,000-year-old text, but paired with an earlier comment, where she said she hadn't been familiar with the Odyssey before landing the role, despite a background in classical theater training, it became its own wave of criticism, fair or not, about how connected she seemed to the material she signed on to lead.
So, will it actually flop?
Here's the honest answer. Probably not, but it's genuinely less certain than it would be for any other Nolan film. The case for it being fine, Nolan is still one of the only directors left who can be called audience-proof. IMAX 70mm seats reportedly sold out a year in advance. The film's break-even point, once marketing is factored in, is somewhere in the $500–600 million range worldwide. A lot, but very achievable for a Nolan epic given his track record, and early first reactions out of the London premiere have reportedly leaned positive, even glowing, which matters more than a dislike counter. The case for concern, pre-release tracking has reportedly softened over the exact same weeks the backlash intensified, landing the domestic opening estimate around $80 to $100 million. Solid, but not the runaway number of film this expensive needs to justify its budget. And the Snow White comparison keeps coming up for a reason. That film also had a historically bad trailer ratio, and it went on to badly underperform. The truth is, online backlash and box office performance don't always move together. Sometimes a 5-alarm internet controversy barely dents opening weekend. Sometimes it's the canary in the coal mine. We'll actually know the answer starting July 17th.
So that's where things stand. The most disliked trailer of Christopher Nolan's career, a public feud with one of his brother's closest friends, a lead actress fielding tough press questions, and a studio locking its own comment sections days before release.
One user wrote, "I'm glad 300 was made before 2026. And another wrote, "I am Greek. We all studied Odyssey at school, and this is a complete mockery of our whole culture and history." With another one commenting, "Should have been named The Audacity." And one comment said, "There is more Greek in the yogurt in my fridge than in this movie."
Personally, I don't think Nolan's name lets this fully flop, but I don't think it sails through unscathed either. What do you think? Is this backlash going to translate into empty seats? Or is this just internet noise that fades the second people are in the theater? Drop your prediction in the comments.